What's up, and welcome to another episode of Upland Stories. Today we have Bleurain, and I know her as Zarinah's Guides on YouTube because I love a lot of the work she's putting into tracking the floor prices, especially, and helping us see the trends when the economy goes up, when it goes down, when different cities are released, kind of how we see that affect the floor prices of other cities. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And I guess I got to say thank you, upxland.me and uplandoptimizer.com, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys.
Those are some of the tools that you use as you're putting together your research.
Yes, but I have had to sometimes when those sites have like been wacky, go like scour over the map and find the floor that way, which is very annoying. So
where you zoom out on the whole map and then see the lowest price.
One city's okay, doing it all over, not fun.
Oh yeah, it can be really hard on like the East Coast where they're all the borders are close together, right?
Just enough, yeah.
So I'm sure that's been fun trying to figure that out, for sure. So
it's been fun.
Yeah, so I've honestly watched a lot of your content and enjoyed you tracking the prices. I'm curious, like, how long have you been playing Upland? What kind of attracted you initially to the game?
So I started playing in January. So that puts us at, what are we, almost 9 months now? Because January 8th, I think, is my date on the blockchain.
Okay.
And I started because I saw, well, I'm pretty sure that I think first, before I saw an ad for it, I saw someone, this YouTuber, I forget her name now, but she was basically, she talks about play to earn games all the time. And she was covering Upland at one point. And then I went to go check out Upland, and like, what is this? And it was like compared to Monopoly. And so that was a huge draw, just because it's like one of my childhood favorite games. And I was really huge into it. Like my family and I would literally stay up all night and wait till someone was literally bankrupt before we ended the game.
Play it all the way through.
Like, for real. I was queen, I guess, at Monopoly. And when I saw like, hey, play to earn from like a Monopoly type game, and I was already playing, well, not just Candy Crush, because I never have put money into Candy Crush, I'm actually proud to say, but I was playing Kingdom of Camelot and War and Order, which unfortunately I did put like hundreds of dollars in. I hope no one in my family sees this. But I was like dropping so much money just to win. Just it's so horrible to say that. But like, I wanted to like speed attack people. I wanted to protect myself in my game. So I was already feeling kind of uncomfortable, and I tried to quit those games several times because I'm just throwing my money away. So Upland came in an opportune time for me to kind of reinvest that same energy that I love for games, and maybe a little bit of spending on to see what's going to happen. And I thought, this is like, now I have a purpose that's not just, I already have a little bit of an entrepreneurial side, so I like to like side hustle, make some money.
Yeah.
So it's like mixing this competitive edge gamer type personality, and I can justify it because now I might earn money out of it. So that's kind of how I got looped in.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that a lot. I definitely have to admit I put quite a bit of money into like Pokemon Go, and even Mario Kart came with the mobile version, and it's totally like pay to win. You got to just like dump money in it if you want to be able to compete and win races or whatever. So yeah, that's definitely a lot of the mobile game market, right?
Yes, and that's what got discouraging for me, because I essentially knew it's like, well, if I am winning right now, it's because someone else didn't put the money in to get all these shields that I have, or things like that. And so I like that Upland has a bit more strategy, and then they have that whole, maybe you can try to play for free. And I think that's a really huge draw. I'm not playing for free, but I think it's cool that that's possible. So we'll see, but
yeah, I'm definitely not playing for free. I put in $50,000, and like I can't believe that a game I would put that amount of money in, but that's because it's not just a game, right? Like I see it as a actual financial investment that I believe in, because it, for the same reasons you're explaining. Like I'm drawn to it. It appeals to this like gamer instinct that I have, as well as this entrepreneurship spirit that I have, and so I think that's where a lot of us, like me and you, are finding that like similar ground where it's like we can see a future in this, and especially what we think it could evolve into.
Right. And I think because of like the huge potential right now and because it's so early on, it's like you said, it's an investment. It seems like a wise investment. Like because just of like where the world is going and where Web3 is going, to me it seems like a sound investment because we already have so many players and we're like making such huge advancements right now in Upland. So I feel a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say safe, but I feel like I can justify it for a number of reasons. Like, number one, it's fun. And I think if people just start there, like, you're going to spend your money on something anyways. Like, that's what we do with our money. We want to have shelter, eat, and then enjoy ourselves. And so if you're going to go to the movie, that's over. You're not going to get your money back. It could have been on Netflix the next week. So you wasted your money maybe. So to me, it's like if I am comfortable spending my money for my own fun first and not worrying about making any money back, but just because, hey, I love this. This is fun for me. Then I feel like if I'm having fun, I'm not losing. So that's like my first thing. But then I'm like, okay, people are gonna keep buying these, like people are having fun. So if we know people are having fun, there's gonna be an interest. So you then you can sell your stuff. So I feel like there's like gonna constantly, well, not maybe constantly, but for a while coming, I can see more and more interest coming. So that's why I feel like I have good stuff right now, like a good hand of cards. Like I got good stuff. And I know like I just feel like the more potential that they make on like with these like layer two opportunities and the more like people can own their own stores and like that kind of opportunity continues to be there. I feel like there's just too many people like us in the world not to have Upland, I feel like, grow. So yeah, I
Oh
just think
yeah.
it's cool. I feel like I'm having fun and I feel like I'm in on something that's gonna take off, God willing. I hope it does. But I feel like it will.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of people haven't been exposed to this type of a game yet, where it is perpetual. And you mentioned Monopoly; it's really this perpetual, never-ending game of Monopoly
Yeah.
that uh, everyone can win. Though it's not, you're not trying to
Right.
bankrupt each other. It's just like this economy that we can all participate in and get involved in however you want. So I'm curious, how did your journey kind of start when you first got in? Were you like pretty skeptical, maybe only put in a few dollars, and or like how did it evolve for you?
So I remember when I wanted to buy, like I wanted to try to buy something from somebody else. And I think I wanted to sell. Like, and I realized right away I couldn't do. I didn't start with a promo code, by the way. I didn't. I saw the video, saw the ad, and just joined the game. So I just started off like what 4,500 epics or something, and then I wanted to start playing, and I saw, oh, if you buy $5 worth or whatever, you'll become an Uplander. So then I just did that. That was
Yeah.
my first purchase, was just like, and that was another like kind of silly. But once I started like playing, I actually was bad at like, well, I was in, what was it, Bakersfield, and I bought the wrong property, and then I was starting to realize like, wait, there's other cities. So I started off horrible. Like that's basically the bottom line. I started off in Bakersfield because Upland said there's places to mint here. And I think that's, while they're trying to be helpful, I don't know how helpful that is. I just it's like, man, like starting people off just because there's places to mint. Um, I don't know. It would be nice if there was like a little bit of like, but by the way, there's Chicago and there's other places and there's these prices before they just settle for minting and not just buying their way to Uplander and going to start off in a better area, perhaps. Anyways, so me, I started off in Bakersfield, started realizing that there were other cities. And I think I started watching videos too to like figure out things because I was just like, I didn't know what to do. There was treasure hunting that popped up. I couldn't figure that out, and so that's, I think I started
Yeah.
getting stuck. And then there was a thing that was really what good. There was something in the game that was something like you need help or whatever. I was like not getting it, and it told me to go to Discord. And so that's when
Oh,
I
cool.
finally got to Discord through something in the game. Something to tell me like, if you need help because you know how to do something, go to our Discord. And so I joined. Well, actually, that's also another thing. I tried joining the Discord, but it took me a bit. That was like 2 weeks in trying to get attached. It kept saying my phone number was already attached. I'm like, what? I never even heard of Discord. So
Oh,
that
so that was your first
was
time creating
yeah,
a Discord account was
yeah.
for
And
Upland.
yeah, exactly. And I was previously, and this is the thing, people may not know this, but I think maybe people around my age who are teachers might have like a bad idea about Discord because we were finding our students like being on Discord and like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
you're on Discord, like, and they're just chatting with all these people, like, so we were like, anti Discord, like, and thought it was like, maniacs talking to kids and kids trying to have secret conversations with all their little groups. I thought it was literally like a group chat for kids that other
Yeah.
people got in. So yeah, so I wasn't ready to join. That's why I always say, why do they make people have to go to Discord? Because the people who feel like me might not, take that leap. So, anyways, yeah. So I did eventually, and my life got a lot better once people a new player chat were helping, and then YouTube. Really, I feel like YouTube helped more than new player chat. But new player chat was helpful in some ways, like pointing out, well, one, like I also like Upland's guide site. I think I read that thing, like, okay, now I get it. Okay, this and that. But then I like the videos, especially the ones on treasure hunting, because I
Yeah.
didn't get treasure
Because
hunting.
actually is showing you where to
Yeah,
click and how to
yeah.
do it.
And the
Yeah.
circle thing. Oh, that was someone posted that circle map on Discord with the blinking the distances, and I was
Yep.
like, yeah, so many things. Like I used to get tripped up if like a treasure hunt started while I was hunting. I didn't know that that was actually a treasure hunt starting. I thought that there was now two options for me. There were my own hunt that I just had to decide. It was so weird, and I didn't get that at all. So yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube
There's a
was
lot of nuances for people to figure out when they come into the game. So there's definitely going to YouTube, going to different guides, and using all these different resources, getting involved with the community, asking questions definitely helps as new players come in because it is different because obviously we both have played a lot of mobile games and things like that, and a lot of these have really good tutorials and they like
yeah,
walk you through everything. I've often thought like, man, why can't Upland make this like tutorial? But it's ever evolving, right? And
yeah,
that's one of
that's
the
true.
issues. It's not just a game that they made that's going to kind of stay the same and they can make a perfect tutorial that teaches you how to do it because
That's true.
we may be getting to a time where people don't even want to buy properties. They only want to buy cars or they only
Right.
want to buy NFLPA legits
Yeah, I was
or
gonna say those
right?
legits. I think people are gonna be jumping into the game for legits pretty soon. We'll see,
Yeah,
but
especially
I
with
think that's
Porto coming, they have
yeah.
hardcore fan base. Like,
I think so. I think you
yeah,
guys will have your value there now, like we're like a different value, a
yeah,
secondary value will come into it. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see like just with the stadiums being built, like if they're gonna have any different other experiences now. Like I don't know, take over there and send you to a spot, and now you can get to the secret game that they're going to have or interviews with their team or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? But I'm excited.
yeah.
I
The,
haven't
the
stayed though.
yeah, the team's always talking about like blurring the real world with the digital world, and I think that Upland is the perfect way to do that. Of like,
Yeah.
yeah, when a game is happening, maybe you can go and have some type of like tailgating experience and talk to other fans, or I think the sky's the limit there, and it's gonna be really fun to see how it evolves
Yeah.
for
They could
sure.
even have their players like invite you guys to a Discord channel if you have their legit talk to.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there in case they hear this. Like, hey, you guys should do this. I only have one legit, but I'm like, I mean, it's like a hat. It's a wide receiver though. I feel like that's a good one.
hey, that's cool.
So I just need two.
So how did it evolve to you getting into starting to track the floor prices and then make content about that?
Okay, so I I started off poorly, got into Discord, which by the way, while I mentioned that YouTube was a little bit better for me for help, it was it was Discord that made me, I feel like, stay in the game. I feel like that was like a whole other arm that like kind of circled and embraced me. Like this is really fun, and there's this whole community, and all these people to talk to about this game, and they're having fun with it too. And so to have that same, like, I guess that shared passion with people, like every day log in, like I also log in to Discord. So, so with that, I was struggling with the prices, like, or like, why is stuff so expensive, blah, blah, blah. And like, I can't sell anything. And then people started, I think it was like randomly that someone mentioned upxland.me. And I was kind of irritated, like that it wasn't just automatically an Upland guide, to be honest. I was like, why didn't he mention this? Like this is such a crucial thing for you to know about. And I had no idea there's tools out there. And people were like, oh, there's tools. What tools? So yeah. I was like,
so it was a big kind of like eye-opening moment to be like, what? Yeah. You can track all the prices of everything. You don't just have to like guess.
Yes. And then it wasn't even until after that I saw a video on the scroll out part and look at the prices. So it's like I had nothing I was working with. So seeing those things really changed things for me. But once I saw like, okay, there's upxland.me, I started using it. And I was like, this is like amazing to me, like, just to see what's up with the prices. And I wasn't really going to do anything about it. But at the same time, I have this Etsy store. So that's my other entrepreneurial side I was talking about. So I had this Etsy store. And I was mentioning to my sister, like, they say that you have to drive traffic to your Etsy store, you have to actually like start being like publishing, like streaming videos and stuff, and like trying to get your products like out there. And I was like, but you can also just have a channel, and then on your channel, people start looking at you, and then you can flash your stuff, and they go to that. So I was like, okay, I have to have a channel, man. I don't want to know what to talk about. And my sister was saying that this guy who plays this other game just like posts something silly every day that all the players are interested in. And I was like, well, I could post the floor because I am interested in that every day.
Yeah.
So that was something that I thought new players like me, if they could just hop in and see, here's the floor today, they would immediately know, don't buy that secondary property. It is way overpriced right now and you're never going to sell it. You're just going to feel horrible about yourself. So it's like, yeah. So I thought it'd be beneficial. And I honestly thought that people will be more excited to actually be able to log in really quick and say, hey, there it is. Oh, okay, that's where it is today. And maybe I'll sell. So that's what got me doing it. And then as I've been doing it, I've been thinking, because there's been times I thought about like, let me just quit. Nobody cares. But then I started thinking to myself, like, this is like a history. Like, even if nobody cares, I'm kind of documenting Upland's kind of floor history.
You are.
Go back this, like, yeah, like a library. Like I have all this data. I have all this stuff. Like, but then people can just like enter in the date on YouTube and be like, wait, back a year ago, that girl said the prices were this, and look at us now. You know what I mean? So it just made me want to. That makes me want to keep going, because I don't know. That's like the teacher side of me when I research and have all that filed. But I like it. So I like to have it just because I feel like it does help if anyone jumps in and they just jump on today and see YouTube, just even look at my video yesterday and over the few weeks, and they can kind of just, I see that. Oh, this actually, what's happening in Manhattan?
Yeah. So let me actually pull this on screen and you can kind of show us, this is an example of the spreadsheet you use in your videos, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go.
You can see, what you see on the left, that says September 1st, and that was yesterday. And so on the right side of that that's not colored would actually be the 31st. Because what I do is basically paste the previous day over in that column so that it calculates the difference in prices between the days. And some people have mentioned, like, you should just do the weeks. But I previously seen, I believe that John SSFTG does something like that already. So you kind of like go back. So I was like, I still think what's happening daily, that's what I want to know, because it just changes. And so what happened last week may not be relevant today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, so you'll see it basically will give you like the percentage of how it's changed, like fluctuated in the most recent day. But then, like I said, because there's a history, it's like for me, every now and then I'll go back and do a video and compare, like, hey, here's what it was like a week ago or last month, just so we can kind of get a glimpse. But I like to see just over time, as I start getting a hang of where the prices are, like just knowing this is a normal floor for this area. Even if I don't see what looks like a big drop between the days, I'll know this has been like an ongoing kind of bad stream for this city. You know what I mean? Like right now, Manhattan's been like this for a while, but that was not how it was. So I feel like Manhattan has hope to rebound. although it's been going further and further down. I don't know. I just hope that it rebounds. Like maybe it's just me hoping, being hopeful. But I bought my own Manhattan property. I only have one. I bought it for 115 because when I started, Manhattan was $250 and in the 200,000 UPEX range. And so I've been watching it be that way for a long time. So when it hit the $100 range, I thought I got a deal. And now I'm looking at people getting things for $60 and $56, and it's just crazy to me. But so yeah, so I feel like I have that kind of knowledge because I follow the floor.
Yeah.
People, if just so even just following it just doesn't kind of know the market after a while, I think it would. It's just been to me, I find it beneficial, and I just hope that there are some people out there like-minded who eventually catch on and think, yeah, that's pretty cool. She's doing that for us.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize like there has been a large fluctuation of the floor prices and of everything like that over time as the game has gone on. We see, prices fluctuate, and we have seen based on a lot of the times new cities being released, that's one of the biggest factors. Is that what you see usually when you're tracking the floor prices?
It is. I'll see the people bring in their like really like low below mint prices, and they're trying to get their UPEX from the new cities coming. But I've seen cities like rebound. Like for example, like Los Angeles to me, it's not super cheap or anything, but it's not like $3. And so like the floor is not $3. Like whereas I feel like it would like drop. And then Chicago, for example, it was getting there, but it always seems to drop back down. So there's some places I feel like always have a consistent low floor, and the other places that'll rebound back after that new release. But Manhattan has consistently since Los Angeles, after Los Angeles or something, maybe even Detroit, it's just been not coming back. Like in San Francisco, that one's being weird too.
There was a lot of talk of Manhattan having because it was the first tier 1 city that had not a lot of supply, not a ton of properties. You have Chicago and you have LA that have a ton of supply, and so it kind of takes a while. LA hasn't even sold out, been all the way minted out yet, right? And so definitely you don't see a rise in the floor price major until it's at least all the way minted out, at least from my perspective. Would you agree with that?
I definitely think it depends. Like Cleveland's minted out, right? But it's super cheap. Not super, but I feel like it goes to $4 every now and then. So it makes me wonder. And it's kind of bigger. I'm not sure what it compares to Chicago size. And I guess Chicago is really it's big, and you have those, I don't know, project areas. I'm not sure how they price the floor in that city, depending on I guess the area. But what I feel like some cities that are minted out have nice floors, even though for example, New Orleans. I feel like they stay it stays pretty consistent. Even after a new city, it might drop and it comes back. You know what I mean? And it's minted out. So it's some places don't have to be. I don't know. Some places can be minted out, I feel and have just no one has interest in them. Whereas other places may never mint out, like Los Angeles, but we will still see movement and people looking around. And I think even minting, I see the minting floors are slowly coming up there. So I don't know. I feel like Manhattan, yes, it's sold out, but something to me seems more weird about it. Maybe it was because Upland said they were trying to make that price go down, and because it was they thought that was too high, and that's what started all that. But I just feel like Manhattan is worth more. So
yeah.
That's just, I feel like it's worth more. And so I don't like to see the decline. And then it's the same with San Francisco. It was $45-ish when I started. But then that recent $16, $17 stuff, that's been that was DJ Shorts. And then now people are doing it with him. So I don't know.
Yeah, that happens a lot where there might be someone who has a lot of properties in that city and they come in and just start selling a lot of they're kind of in the mode to cash out, and they can drive down the floor pretty quickly, because if they put 100 properties up for sale, those aren't going to all sell instantly, right? And so then other people look and they go, okay, well, I want to sell some properties now. So then it kind of just sets
A rush to the floor.
this random rush to the floor.
Yeah.
But there's usually a stopping point because most people don't want to lose money, right?
That's what I'm hoping on.
Yeah, and I also think there is this like after like you got to realize every city is still probably like on average I'd be curious how many properties have actually been sold, because I think a lot of cities have had people come in and mint a ton of properties. For example, myself in Chicago, I bought like over 1,000 properties in Chicago, and I've maybe only sold like 50 of them, right?
Wow.
So you have a lot of the floor where it's like if I went in now and wanted to start selling some, like I'd be willing to sell them at the floor because I'd be making a lot of money on a lot of them, even if like I'd be willing to probably sell a little bit below the floor.
Exactly.
But yeah, you do have that like race to the bottom, right?
That's what I started watching too, because I would pull up and I saw people pricing, and I'd be like, I would tell people like if someone priced something really low, all of a sudden I would look and be like, well, they've had this property since they like minted it for like super cheap way back here and 2 years ago. So you can't really blame the person right now for coming in and doing that, because it's a quick deal and they are seriously still making a good income off of it. So it's like I see that happening, and that's why I get a little freaked out though about all those FSA players. Because I'm just like, dang, like I start thinking about the days and I'm like, okay, so 6 months from now, what is going to happen to this place?
Yeah, when all the FSA players
like
start flipping their properties.
Yeah, like $3.
Yeah, that's interesting that you've been kind of thinking about it that way and tracking as cities progress. Yeah, I do think Manhattan, though. See, there's a lot of people like me who made the opposite effect, because I was still in early enough to mint in Manhattan. I joined after Manhattan was released, but you got to realize it took like almost a year for it to actually mint all the way out.
Wow.
Yeah. So even like Manhattan took a long time, and the floor prices were pretty low. And then once it sold out, then it really shot up. And I remember the week it minted out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep all my collection properties, or like at least keep one in each collection. And then I'm just going to sell everything else that I own for just double what I paid for it. So I'm like, I'm worried I'm not going to be able to flip all these. Right. And so I sold a ton that I got for maybe like 5,000 UPIX in Harlem. I had a ton in Harlem. I maybe had like 30 or 40 properties in Harlem, and I probably sold them for like 10,000 UPIX. You know what I mean? Like
that's probably how I feel about selling some of my Los Angeles properties.
Yeah.
Like, oh, 7,000. Oh, here's a $7 property. Yeah. Maybe I should be starting to reconsider some of these things, but yeah, because that's because when you talk about Harlem, and that's what makes me feel like I may be addicted to this game or a weirdo, but I'm like, I really would like some Harlem properties, and I don't even know why. It's not like I want to flip them. That just sounds cool to me. Like, it's like that's like I've been waiting. Actually, I looked up Langston Hughes' address, and like I was like, oh, I wish I could get that. But it's I'm nope, I can't. But there are certain properties in New York. Like I'm just like, yeah, that would be so awesome to own. But if I just say Manhattan, I'm like, oh, Harlem, the Village. It just sounds cool, even though it's belief property I don't really own. It's like I feel like I still need to get some in my assets. So that's why that's why I feel like Manhattan is still underpriced, because I feel like there's people who I was gonna pay more, so I don't know, I don't know. I was kind of here, guys. Bring up the prices.
The other thing I think about a lot is how other value is going to be created. Like we talk about nodes, we talk about even just getting real world businesses coming into Upland. Like maybe if you're buying up specific businesses that you feel you could turn into a business or to an experience, like there's so many other opportunities as well, more than just the floor price as well. Like I love looking at the floor price because it's the quickest way for me, it's always been the fastest way. Like, okay, if I need to get like $100 USD out of the game right now, the fastest way is going to be like go and sell at the floor price in cities where I feel like, okay, I minted these a long time ago. I can still maybe make 150% on my mint price and also get some money out, right? So like there's different strategies that people are going into, but then you have other people that are like, I'm going after very specific businesses, and then I'm maybe even going to reach out to this business in the real world
Try it. I
and
have
see
one of
if they
those.
want to buy it, right?
Yeah, I did that with one thing. I was in Vegas just because I know a spot, and I was like, oh, I think people will want to grab this. But I was actually trying to go. I was trying to go for the Double Down, which is a bar that UNLV people, like the university kids, like to go to,
Yeah.
and other people. And so, because I was thinking, I would tell them, hey, I got this. Maybe you can offer people like a deal at your place if they own this NFT. But I'm just too shy to go down to any business and do that yet. So I have one business that I was thinking about doing that, but just I'm a little, like I said, I'm shy, though it doesn't seem like on camera. It's like in a computer, it's different. But just approaching people in real life and be like, I have this and trying to sell. This is not me. In fact, fun fact, I've been licensed 3 times as a Nevada's realtor to sell real estate, passed the test 3 times. Just let my license lapse 3 times because I just can't sell. I can't bring myself to try to sell something in person. So yeah, that's that. But anyways, back to
well, that would never come across because you do so good on your content. You come across really well.
That's crazy. So yeah, I think it's more when I'm speaking, like recording, I feel like more it's my teacher side. So I can, if I know what I'm talking about, it's easier for me to like seem like I'm teaching it or just discussing versus feeling like I have like a motivation or I'm like trying to get your money. I hate feeling that way.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like uneasy. So yeah, so that's why I didn't
Well,
real estate.
I mean, regardless, I think that Web3 and the metaverse is the next big marketing opportunity that brands are going to be getting into because I have a marketing background. That's kind of my career that I've had. Yeah. So, and I remember the big like SEO boom and like all these agencies started up and they're like helping businesses know how to put all these keywords on their website and things like that. And then the next big thing was kind of like social media and Facebook, and every brand out there's like, okay, well, we got to have social media and we got to be posting once a week, like at least once a week. And then you have agencies that are like, okay, so we're going to help you make a post every week and so that your company knows what you're up to. I really see Web3 and the metaverse is like the next big thing that like brands are going to feel pressure
for sure
to get into because it's going to be the place for them to have a deeper level of interaction with their fans. And that's what I think each of these steps of the internet has been. Like first it was just have a website. Now it's like have social media and hire someone to interact with your fans. Like you have to be responding to comments.
Right. Constantly.
The next level is going to be like creating immersive experiences and like interacting in these really unique digital ways. And I think that we're actually going to see that start to evolve really rapidly as this whole idea of the metaverse continues to get legs. So maybe hold on to it for a while, these ones that you think, and as you see it becoming more common that other businesses are doing it, you have something that actually is value to a business out there, right?
Yes. See, on that same token, I keep telling people that what I envision, like, how we have like email right now. I think email is going to go away. Like, it's going to be like more like, this is like your web address, like your little thing, and like sticky notes probably virtually stuck to stuff, who knows? But I think things like are going to move this way. And I think as far as businesses go, I can't see them avoiding it. And that's why, like, for me, well, even people who want to be business owners, like I bought a place on Coffee Pot Street in Las Vegas in Upland, because it's like Coffee Pot. And I'm like, how cute is that? Like, now I can have my little cafe. And if I ever open something virtually, like say I open up a karaoke night at Coffee Pot Cafe, and
that's cool.
Like, post it through there. So I do think the business aspect is going to be there for even like not just big businesses, but even for random properties. If you just like, hey, it's a cool street, or like Music Street. I got some properties on Music Street in New Orleans because I'm like, freaking Music Street. Like, I don't know. I just, it sounds perfect for like a little,
Yeah.
some type of metavision or some type of music stuff. Like, you know, who knows? And I think there are lots of like people who are, you know, artistic and like to sing and make stuff, and it just seems like a good spot to have a MetaVenture or some type of store where we can really link to other experiences. That's what I'm hoping for, like, you know, being able to link to other things, and like their little Web3 alliance, OMA3. I'm hoping for that interconnectivity and to be able to like extend beyond. But even right now, with some of the developers doing what they're doing, I think you know, having their website, but you still have that Upland connection. I feel like that's like taking us to where we want to go, to add all this other value. So even if you don't want to like, you know, flip your properties, but you just want to be able to make sure you can send because you have to be able to go to this event that's in the game, then you need a property or you need to be in there to send. Or no, you don't have to send, you don't have to own to send, but you have to be able to have UpX to send. They have, yeah. You have to be able to in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think there's just so much business opportunity for existing businesses and for people who want to be in business. And that's why I'm like, so that guy you're talking about who said Upland is stupid or the stupidest thing he ever heard. I saw him. What's his name?
Mark Cuban. Yeah.
That guy, Mark. Okay, so Mark Cuban. I saw him also on the NFTLA conference. And on that one, he was saying what he mentioned that people were spending all this money on these properties in the sandbox on the land. And to me, I was like, okay, you can take that type of skepticism and say, yeah, people are spending like thousands or like, you know, a lot, like hundreds of thousands or even more on these properties in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Like some weird address nobody knows, it's arbitrary. And I was like, yeah, but or take that and go start for free in Upland and get your land, or put in a little bit of money that's not extreme like what he's talking about. It's not the kind of risk that they're doing, but it's like a way better, you know, avenue. So I'm like, he can think things are silly, but when he said that and you mentioned that, I was thinking like, some people think trading baseball cards is silly and stupid too. And, you know, or people think gaming in itself is dumb, just sit in front of a game, just trying to get points. And that's like, people are entitled to their own opinions. And it's like, well, whatever. So to me, it's like, I don't, first of all, I didn't know who Mark Cuban was. I saw him at NFTLA. I didn't know who he was. You mentioned him and I'm like, so he's some rich guy out there. But so I really don't
care. He's big because he's on that Shark Tank
I know, like
show where he invests in businesses.
Watch Shark Tank, except for people who want to be on Shark Tank. I'm just kidding. But
and I think because he has a history of he has a big history of doing well in the internet and tech space.
Like, yeah, this guy. Okay, because I'm like, who is he? I'm like, who cares about this guy? I thought he was from Shark Tank, but then when I looked it up, it didn't say Shark Tank. So I was like, okay, I really don't know who he is then. But since you said Shark Tank, that confirms it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw that guy sitting on the couch with that face, making that same look. But yeah, no, I think, you know, I think everyone's gonna think something stupid until they start realizing that they were wrong. And like how like people probably thought like Facebook was stupid and Mark Zuckerberg is so rich now. So, you know, everyone can have their opinion, but I feel like if you notice, who cares if you think it's stupid, right? Like, who cares if I think baseball cards are stupid? If someone gives me a Babe Ruth, I'm not going to throw it on the ground. I'm going to keep it because I know somebody thinks that has value.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I'm looking at. It's like there's a bunch of players, and then there's a football team, and there's a soccer team getting involved, and there's all this interest. So, you know, if it were stupid, it might be, I would say, obscure, and no one would know about it right now. But
yeah.
Because it's not, not
and like every single property in Upland means something to somebody out there. That's right? The other thing too. Like, like I was trying to buy my girlfriend's property in Oakland because that's where she grew up, and like I'm here like offering like absurd amounts of UPX just because like I want to own it. Like they probably minted it for like 30,000 UPX. And it's not even a collection city. It's not even a highly valued area. And I'm offering like 200,000 UPX just because I want to like own it. And it's still not getting accepted. Wow. So I'm like,
I'm wondering if the person is either not playing anymore and like just doesn't know that you sent the offers, or if because you made such a big offer, they think it's like a huge, like they must be sitting on
Yeah.
something that's worth something really big.
Yeah,
They're like,
people
"I
think
don't know,
it's
pull
worth
it out."
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wish when you sent offers, like I wish Upland would at least add like type. You can add
Yeah.
like a one paragraph,
Yeah.
and
My
obviously
grandma's
don't,
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't allow like profanity or anything like
Yeah.
that. But if you could type like, hey, here's why I'm interested in this to give some context around it, because
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Anytime anyone makes me an offer, I'm like, well, what do they know about this property
Yeah.
that I don't know? Like, I'm going
That's
to.
how I do too. I'm like, let me do my research. Find
Yeah,
out.
so I think if
They
there
don't
was a
know.
way to give like, hey, this is actually like this is a property
Yeah.
that I know somebody grew up in that house, and it would just mean a lot for us to have that. Like
Yeah.
that,
We're
I
team.
mean, that would be really cool, you know.
Yeah.
And
I guess
yeah,
when
so
the in-game
every
competition comes in, hopefully.
yeah, yeah, like every single property out there has someone has an emotional tie to it,
For sure.
and so as the game continues to grow, and I've had people reach out to me on Discord, hey, this was my childhood home. Hey, this was, and I'm just like, cool, yeah, let's make an offer. You can have it. Let's make a trade. Like, I'm
I'll
super
just say,
happy to like work with people on that because it means something to them
yeah.
more
Why
than
don't
it does for me to hold it, right?
I'm like, Yeah, I tried to get my grandma's house in Chicago, and no, the person, because it wasn't for sale, but the person never like actually like responded, and I eventually just took it off. So I was like, okay, I need my UpX, but it was just sitting now. Maybe it wasn't enough, and I can go back and put some more. But I didn't want to overpay because I like at the same time, it's just my grandma's house, like in a game. Like it's not my real grandma. Like I'm not gonna go see her there. So it's like, there's some sentimental value. Like I'll offer you something. I'm not going to go out of my way to even buy this property. The other thing
Yeah.
about my dad, someone else's that was for sale, it's like really expensive. Yeah, in Chicago, there's a lot of properties like because I'm from Chicago, and my family has like a big history there. And so there's like a couple places like there's mosques, like masjids, like that's like a religious term for Muslim,
Yeah.
basically, right? And there's one my dad built that's near Hyde Park. Masjid Al Fatir. So if you own Masjid Al Fatir, I'll buy it from you. But then my grandfather has like I think it's Mosque Mariam. It's this huge mosque over there. But I don't really want that one. But I thought about it because I think somebody else like who'd be interested probably because they like my family or whatever. But yeah, so there's definitely places I know hold value, and I am curious. I feel like even celebrities, I wonder if when they start realizing like, oh, okay, I'm in this game exists, if they're gonna be like looking for their homes and willing to offer extreme amounts, because that's I'm like, whose home is this in Hollywood? I'm sure somebody in Hollywood grew up here. No, we'll find out. But that's why Los Angeles, I'm always like, I just feel like there's so many celebrities who grew up somewhere in LA, and if I just hang on to enough of these, like maybe someday they're like,
Yeah.
hey, you'd be on my show if you give me that property. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I do think churches are an interesting one. At really any place that has like gatherings on a regular basis, like any event venue, like, and you could see how these people would want to come in, probably own their property, put a little billboard or something on there, maybe even pay for someone to actually do a 3D replica of their actual building.
Yep.
Make it stand out somehow, and just do genuine advertising. Like, hey, if you're in this area, like, why wouldn't like even fast food restaurants like literally be like, hey, if you mentioned that you saw this in
Right.
Upland, like you can get buy one get one free of something or whatever. Like, and
What
it's
if when you clicked on like Wendy's or McDonald's, their property card actually gave you a coupon that you could scan because you were in the game and you got to see their property card or whatever. Or if you send and show it, they like put you in a raffle. Oh,
yeah,
awesome. It's
like I get really excited about the marketing potential here of brands
Yeah.
working with people. And honestly, that's what will elevate the game for all of us who just love playing it. Like all of us who just love the game, love this Monopoly aspect, and we're just wanting to like on like racing and all the things that could do, like mini games. I know we're gonna start to see a lot of mini games develop with layer 2 and things like
Speaking
that.
of mini games, I want to mention Monero before you forget.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So you were talking about nodes bringing value to the game, amongst other things. And I want to speak on the Monero node only because I love them, but it's an international group. I'm not sure if there's other ones, but they premise themselves as being like, hey, there's probably lots of international Discord channels, so they don't want to say it. But yes, this is like that was their premise. Like, we are from all over the world and going to together make this neighborhood. And so I really liked that kind of like that vision. Like, that's, people from everywhere living together in this Monero node in Rio. But when you mentioned those secondary games or these funny games on the Monero node Discord channel, so if you join the Monero node, they have this fun fish game, and you I, I feel silly now saying it's fun fish game, but you just fish. Like, you fish every day and you like level up, and it tells you what kind of fish you caught. So I felt like, yeah. So I just imagine if like we could extend that to like Upland. Like, if I clicked on people's property, it takes me to their fish game, and then paid them some of the Upex to play. I feel like that would be cool. Like, if they made that kind of thing, so people who make these games could make more money, like, but in the game too, and then also send fees to their properties. Like, you have to come here to play. That would be better too than just a website. So yeah, I think about that. But anyways, Monero's cool. Great fishing game on their channel. So if you want to play a fun game, you don't have to buy or be. I don't think you have to be a property member to join the node or the channel to play the fish game. You might just sneak in there and play the fish game. It's
That's
fun.
Cool. So they actually developed a little mini game. Do you play it on a website? Do you play it on Discord?
You go into this. You go into their Discord channel, and then one of their links says fishing. And then you go into that, you just click on it, and then in there you have to like use like a command like /fish, and then it says catch, and you click on catch, and then it tells you what kind of fish you caught or if it got away, because sometimes your line breaks and they get away. But you basically have so many fish you're supposed to catch in certain categories to level up. So once you've got all those, you're like leveled up. But you have to also level up your equipment. So it's intricate yet simple. I had a hard time at first because I was like, how are people fishing? I don't get it. And they're like, you just have to do the command. I was like, what command? So I convinced them to put the instructions pinned to the channel inside the fishing game. Then it was simple. Then it was like, okay, /fish, and then /shop, and then it will show you like what you can buy in the shop and how much it costs. And I started figuring out like kind of like the strategy, like level up your rod, level up your line, level up your hook. And then like sometimes make you back to your line before your rod. So there's different things, but it's fun. Like, every day I'm on that channel fishing now.
And I can't wait till these games are actually like even more integrated into Upland's ecosystem and economy. Because imagine you've played this fishing game or whatever, and you're actually having fun, but it's actually like you could maybe items you're collecting in the game, like a new fishing pole, is actually an NFT that you could then sell. So you put a lot of time in, and you like earned that in the game, and then you could resell it. Like, I love this idea of gaming meets entrepreneurship, and a lot of people will just play it for fun, but other people will like actually make jobs out of it, and the game developers are monetizing it that way, and it's this whole just community economy. I love it. I can't stop saying how excited I am for these things to start coming.
Ear, so keep talking about it because they listen to you. I'm like, I felt like, so I had this idea, and I'm like, I'll just throw it out there. But I was thinking, since they're talking about like all this extra money in the community pool, that we be able to like maybe vote on a developer's experience to say, hey, let's fund them with some Upex to reward to us if we play their game, so that gives them something to start it and get the interest like building, to kind of like help us too, because if their game takes off and you have to like be a part of Upland to play it and buy properties and stuff, then it helps our economy, but it also it creates more fun. So for example, like let's say you're a developer and you know how to make a fishing game like actually on Upland where there's like ponds around, right? And so it's like, first of all, if your house is near the pond, it might increase its value. Because maybe if you have to send to a property to actually fish at that pond, and it's like whoever develops that, it's like, okay, well, if you want to actually buy gear, then you would have to buy it from our shop, right? And then maybe that's just like they develop that, but to develop that game initially, like, so like maybe they say, if you like get this fish, because why would we play? Maybe people would just play to fish because that's fun. But if they said you fish and you caught this particular fish, you get 50,000 Upex or 5,000 Upex. Initially, maybe we could fund them with that Upex to supply that. so that they have a little more of an incentive to make these kind of games for us, but also they'll know it's a cutoff. And once you're, that's it. People like it, and now you're good. And you can keep paying your own payouts from what you got coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really cool, unique way to use the community pool to like fund projects up front that get more player engagement. And I think in the near future we'll be able to vote on things like that too as a community, how we want to use the community pool. And that's a really great idea. I love that one.
No one stole my pond idea. That's mine. No. I'm now going to make the pond game.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think with layer 2 we might also see people do some like Pokemon Go type things where like you maybe could use your GPS, where actually like where you are in the game allows you to interact with things differently. Like there's literally limitless potential.
Seriously. Especially for people who are into, like, I think about that too, because I was like, what if I just, like, well, I'm already in Las Vegas, but I feel like Las Vegas, yes, we had Genesis here, but I feel like they ruined it as a city in Upland because it's overpriced for my like, I live here and those are overpriced. So like, I feel like instead I think about like, okay, what if I go to I live near LA, it's like I'm not too far. So what if I went to LA to try to do some type of like event to get people to buy properties in LA, and I like hosted it, because if I'm around, maybe I can put up certain, like, hey, if you're in LA, I put something here and make a whole scavenger hunt around the game, but like, interactive, like you visit this, but we're not allowed to visit real properties. That's part of the rules, right? It has to be like something else. I read that like you can't visit someone's actual house or something. Like I like everyone like showing up, like they cannot show.
I think you could stand on the sidewalk technically. Like
it has to be something like that. But I was thinking like it'd be fun if you were actually in a city and knew like, oh, I have to go to this, I'll send to this property and they'll give me a clue, and then you go someplace in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yep.
Offer
blurring the real world with the digital world, right?
I think that would be fun. So and then if Upland gave me the money to fund the reward, I would cover my own gas to get there and do all the hard work.
So, yeah, that would be fun. That would be really fun.
I think, I agree with you. There's definitely a lot of potential. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. If you can just click on my property and like hear my songs, that'd be cool. Just tons of stuff.
Yeah. So what was your experience at Genesis Week? Like, and as far as meeting people in the community, and things like that?
I felt like I was at like the Billboard Awards or some type of major Hollywood event. That's what it was like for me. I felt like I won tickets to like see the Globe Awards. When I saw Dirk, I was like, I saw that. No, it was like just seeing them in real life. I felt like I was seeing some major celebrities. It was amazing for me, and everybody was so nice. That was like the biggest I guess grab, or I don't know, like it made me feel so great with how nice and welcoming and just like, embracing everybody was. Like they were like friends already. Like people I didn't even like meet until that day felt like I like became friends with them. Like we know each other forever, and just sharing that same passion and enthusiasm for Upland. Just even the live opening, everything was so amazing. I think back on it and it makes me like my heart feels so warm with just how fun it was and just the community. I think that's the biggest thing, is like meeting people in person is different than Discord. Like being in person and like with real people who love Upland, that's like, I don't know, I can't top that feeling. It was like an amazing high. And everyone like, Uplando, I was so excited. Besides you, I was really, really stoked to meet Uplando and Radish Head in person. And I was just like, this is just so cool. I don't know. It was cool. I
can't agree with you more. I was genuinely shocked because I come from a gaming background, and even being in the crypto space, these are both very like toxic things on the internet in a lot of these communities, like especially competitive gaming. I come from playing like competitive shooters like Halo and things like that, and it's very like it's not a place for the weak.
I know what
you know what I mean?
Only because in my War and Order game, I won't give out my name there, but I didn't play as a girl. And so I get really crazy because the guys get really crazy. They get really crazy back, and it does get really crazy in there. But it's like no one knows me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no. There's no limits to how toxic people
Yeah,
can get
it is
on there.
nuts.
And then you have this community that combines gaming and crypto community, so to speak. And somehow it's like one of the greatest online communities. And even when we met up in person, like everyone was so nice, was excited to be there. Like I
Yeah.
was genuinely shocked. Like
You're
it
like,
seemed
what?
like not like everyone there wasn't really there for their own self-interest. They're all excited to get to know each other, learn about each other, and just have fun. And like that to me is like
You're like,
you can somewhat predict the future of a project. Like for example, when you work for a company and you find they have a really bad like culture.
yeah,
Like I've worked at a few different large organizations, and the ones with a bad culture, like it literally affects the actual success of that company long term. Like the employees, what the employees are experiencing is like affecting the actual like growth of that company. And I think like what the community is experiencing in Upland really gives me hope. That means like everyone there who had a good experience is going to go tell their friends about it.
yeah.
It's going to get their family involved. And I like to think we're just on to this like really
Big
kind
thing.
of guerrilla marketing like growth thing. Like it's
Right.
happening.
That's what I think too. Because well, I tell everybody about it, but I also feel like, well, maybe that's why why we are so helpful. It's like it helps us all if we help each other, like, and we help the game grow. Like that helps all of us. And I think sharing in the love for the game is what's there. It's like everybody just like we just love this game, and it's so like we just love playing with each other. I think that vibe is what will carry us through. And I think and I told up Lendell actually a similar thing because he was like, "Well, do you think you'll keep playing?" And I said I would, but I do feel like I said, Discord was a big part of what drew me in to keep playing. I do feel like if it became toxic or people didn't like didn't share the same community vibe anymore, that would affect the game for sure for me. Because if I couldn't like talk to anybody who cared about Upland, then I would be like, dang, well, then it's not as fun. So I for sure like that so many people are just like invested in it and like see a vision and see a future in it, like a real future. You know what I mean? Like and like the things that people were doing, like those people who like I'm like astounded at what these developers can do, and like they're super super savvy. So I'm just like, they're investing a lot of their time and their money into developing these projects, and to see them with their fervor, it just makes me feel like we're in this. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, let's do this. You're gonna take Upland like all the way up. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like just having that shared vision and knowing like we're like I think we know. I think we have a good feeling like we can do this. So yeah, the
Yeah,
community.
and going back to that Mark Cuban thing we were talking about earlier, like he did say what will make any Web3 project successful is the community. Like if a metaverse is going to be successful, it's the community. And I've talked about this on other videos where I showed look at the other metaverses like in the space, and like especially Sandbox and Decentraland that are getting so much hype, or were getting hype. Obviously the tokens are struggling right now. um, Upland continues to perform 10 times, 100 times better than these other metaverse spaces and crypto games. And so I really think that's a huge win for the community, and honestly should build a lot of trust for like
Yes, trust.
so like even the people talking down about it are like if they like I genuinely think Mark Cuban has not been exposed to Upland in the community and what we're doing here, because it doesn't have a crypto token behind it that people know about it. And that's where a lot of people in the crypto space, like it doesn't matter because we're getting so many gamers
Right.
who are seeing the potential. And I think that's another thing that's interesting is like I think they did a poll, and like the average Upland player, it's like over 60%. It's like the first NFT they've ever owned
Yeah.
is an Upland. Is an Upland.
Same. Yeah. For me too.
So, and they also make it easy. Like I'm not sure if you're involved in any other like crypto related things, but like you have to go create a wallet, and it like can get really
Yeah.
hard. And Upland, you can just join. You can use your credit card. Like they make it really easy for
Everything but
people to get
transferring
involved.
your assets is easy.
Yeah.
transferring those blocks. Well, actually, I have to probably ask you a question about it. But everything is really easy. And I have now ventured off into setting up other wallets, or I did because of OpenSea. I created my own little NFT actually, but
Cool.
don't. But yeah. So, but I did notice like there was so much like first of all, those long passwords and whatever. I'm not even like that stuff. All that storage of whether that info goes. That's a little annoying too. Is so getting into crypto, getting into all that is very daunting. And I'll be honest, like I'm still like, what the heck, wet wallet? So for me, Upland being so simple was also probably a big key to me actually doing it, because I could join from my phone. That's a big thing. I have to be able to join things from my phone, because if I can't, it's like really hard for me to get behind a computer
Yeah.
outside of work. So that so I wasn't like necessarily sad, but I do know how complicated it can be. But I've been struggling now though with Upland's like get your like someone gives you an NFT from the a pack or something, a block explorer, and it's an atomic hub. You transfer it in. Every single time I have to go and watch a video. Like it's not simple. Like I don't know why I'm not learning, but every time I'm like, well, how did I? Maybe it's also really spaced out. It's not like every day I'm transferring these things. But my most recent time, I thought I did it right, and I copied like the Upland portal address and pasted it in there, whatever, and then nothing showed up. So I don't know. Let me look right now actually and see if anything's there.
And so it's like potentially lost in space.
Yeah.
Can't find it.
I'm like, wow, yes. That's what I'm so scared about. I'm like, where did it go? And what do I do?
Yeah. And that's the other thing I think Upland has going for them that people don't even realize is like it literally is just one of the easiest crypto asset wallet like managers. Like if I could take all the other NFTs I own anywhere, and I just personally I trust Upland with like storing that right now. And obviously if anything ever happens to the game, I know that they're going to give us the ability to transfer all of our Upland assets somewhere else. Like they make it really easy, and the fact that they're like you can do wax NFTs, the fact they're getting in with OpenSea, like all these different NFTs, like everything, like Solana, Cardano, they're literally making it easy for you to have a central place to store all your assets, and not only store them, like most of these other places are just a place for you to store your NFTs in a wallet. Upland's making it so you can bring all these in from everywhere and also interact with them. Potentially have an apartment building, like your actual house that you decide to do as your home address in Upland. You could store your assets and like put them up on the wall, and other people can come in and see, wow, look, like Bleurain collects these other like Ethereum NFTs.
Yeah.
That's really cool that she's into like these other projects, like there's so many. It's so interesting, and we're so close to that. I think we're not far away from people seeing that. Like, wow, this is actually like more than just a game.
A year.
Yeah.
What are we talking? Not far. I'm looking forward to it. It was Elijah Judah got me a car on OpenSea. And I really want to be able to bring it into the game because it's so cute. And I'm like, this is such a freaking awesome car. But right now it's just sitting there looking pretty. But I am hoping for that, being able to bring it in and then show it off. Maybe not be able to drive it, but even if just share when I'm there to look really nice. Like there's my car and my assets. Like check out my assets. Yeah. So definitely, I mean, people just don't know.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what I hear about the NFT like crypto space by a lot of like smarter people than me of how they're predicting this evolution of Web3. It's really going to be like what NFTs you collect is kind of a part of your identity, just like the clothes we choose to wear, all the different brands we choose to align with. I think that's going to be like
you just keyed in on my one thing I wanted to mention, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brands. So I think brands are silly. Not totally, but when people buy like Michael Kors and they want to spend all this money on because it's Michael Kors, or this is like Calvin Klein, or these shoes are Michael Jordans. I know people love their shoes, right? But that's what I feel like that's silly. It's like, well, if I can get these other shoes or this other purse that looks just like it, That's me. I don't need to buy brand name. I buy brand name for my kid only because I don't need her to be tortured. But as an adult, I'm not worried about it. But so it's like, to me, I think that's why I tell people, like, think about brands when you think about it, because like, that's the kind of thing. It's like some people just like they respect that. And I feel like that's what Upland is kind of like too. Like there's certain brands that people are going to respect. Like, hey, you have those legits. That's like, awesome. I would buy that. And for me, maybe that's not my jam, but I love properties on Venice Beach. So it's like people like brands for whatever so I'm not like maybe a brand person, but I am like an iPhone person, right? So
Yeah.
everyone does, I feel like, have a brand they'll go for, whereas they might be like, I'm not going to pay for that brand, right? So I think that's the whole idea. So there's branding, and there's all these NFTs are kind of like a brand of their own. And like, hey, there's this Venice brand, or there's what is this, like people with their note, these nodes, like the whole node idea, Monero brand. Yeah, I feel like there's just so much, but branding itself, I feel like if people just think about it that way, like you like freaking, you want your shoes to be a certain way, and there's just shoes, it's the same thing. Don't like knock Upland. Like this is just a different brand that people respect. Like this is
Yep.
our Calvin Klein, or this is our Michael Kors. Like, Hollywood is my real Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood brand. So yeah, that was it. Just like, the whole idea, like if it's silly, it's not really.
Well, I'm speculating that in the near future, I don't have any background information, I promise, but I'm speculating that there's going to be a real world car company that aligns with Upland. I don't know. I hear that,
why
like,
not, right?
Dirk was just on the show. He's like, we got partnerships that are coming. We can't announce them yet, and I know there's a lot of red tape around things like that, and a lot of work. Like I imagine like Porto, they've maybe been talking with Porto for over a year, right? Like it just these things take time to work themselves out, plan it. And then the team was actually in Porto, like at the soccer stadium, like recently,
Yeah,
like
cool.
doing
Right,
an in-person event. So
super cool. Yeah.
I'm predicting a car company, especially because, again, speaking of the Mark Cuban thing again, Dirk said in his response that he wrote, and that article is on the news and events page on Upland. He said, he just gave a random example, and one of them was, so let's say a car company wants to get involved with Upland, and they would do a rev share agreement. So that means players like me and you can have our own factory, and we could manufacture cars from Honda or Lexus or Volkswagen or whatever. And we can, like, they'll make money and we'll make money as we produce those items and sell those items. And so that to me is just really cool, and I'm feeling really confident that in the near future we'll have a real world car brand align. And how cool would that be? It'd be so cool.
Amazing. And yeah, another big influx of players too, because car companies obviously have their own marketing that they would do. I can't imagine like them not. But I also just think us knowing it's this is actually it's a real brand does take it. It just makes it all the more exciting. Like it doesn't even matter. Like, is it Ford? Who cares? Like I just want that real brand car. So yes, I think that sounds awesome. Especially if you're one of those like businesses, like, doing cargo stuff, like you're the Uber. If you're Ubering stuff across Upland, you're gonna like, I'm Ubering you my like Benz. Like
yeah,
the Benz or
my Mercedes.
MM Motors. Like you're like
yeah,
Benz Motors. I'll take the Benz. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. It's gonna be really fun to see that evolve.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
So exciting.
I'd be excited to actually just finally get a car. I'm so disappointed yet again with not being able to buy. Like,
same for me. The demand has been crazy.
Yes. And everyone who wins, I'm like, how did you get number 3? But here's the thing. Can you pass this on to Upland? You like feedback from Loyo Doyo. I don't think it's fair that people can win multiple spots in that. Like, how they like get drawn twice. Like, I feel like that's not fair. Like, I feel like once you've been called.
Yeah, some people are getting like randomly, like it's randomly generated, but some people are getting, there's like 14 different cars, and they get a spot in line on multiple of them.
And I think that's not fair.
I haven't been able to get. I don't have a car yet, and I've
I'm
registered for
surprised.
every single sale, and I've been there,
No?
and it's
Oh,
like you can buy one in 2 days
yeah,
for
that's
like
right.
everyone,
28
and they
hours.
sell out in an hour. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I really had a
Just
chance
like,
there.
okay, I just like, yeah. It's just this. I had a dream last night. This is how sad I am. I'm dreaming about my place in line for a car. I had a dream though that I was like 13 out of 130 or something. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and I woke up and
Yeah.
was dream and I didn't get
It is cool to see, though. It is cool to see that, like, there's a lot of trust in the
Fast.
car economy in Upland. Like, these are selling for,
Super fast.
I mean, $200, $300 real
Right.
world money. Like, these are not cheap. And
And I
there's crazy demand for these things, and they've already sold hundreds of them. And imagine they could have probably released 1,000 of them today, and they all would have sold out. Like,
I agree. Yeah, they would have. And I would have had mine. No, I'm just kidding. But yes.
but yeah, I like that the supply and demand is
doing
they're
well.
keeping that in check, and then hopefully sooner than later, like players like me and you will be able to have our own factory, so that we can actually get some supply and demand going with these, of like how much spark it takes to actually produce these, versus like how much we're willing to sell them for, because I think the actual economy, like that's up to us to decide what we're comfortable with, how much spark we've been able to gather, like how much we're willing to sell that for. And that's what's really cool about like the spark exchange economy, is because players get to say, and we've kind of seen it's like on average like $25 per spark hour, or sorry, yeah, I forget the 25 per spark hour. And that's really cool that the supply and demand, like the invisible hand, it's called in economics, kind of just decides that. And I can't wait to see that kind of develop with cars. I think we'll see like really low cost ones actually come in. We'll probably see players who like build really economical cars that maybe it's only like $10 to get a car.
$10? That's very cheap. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's like, that's very cheap. I don't know. I'm like, because it's, well, I guess so. If we have houses that are $10, why not? Or that. So that would make sense. Those really cheap ones, hopefully they don't go very far and have to be something. So like later, I don't want people like not wanting my really expensive car. I probably hope to get someday. $1 car, but yeah.
I mean, all the ones that have sold so far definitely have like this, like first of 100 mint, and like so they're all collector's items. Yeah. And I imagine a lot of them like won't even be driven. I don't think they're talking about like odometer readings on these things. Like it's absurd.
Oh, there's my dog. Did you hear
him? It's absurd.
Okay. I was like, let me know if you start hearing him. He's trying to make himself known. He likes to talk.
Oh, no worries.
So yeah, no. If you happen to get a car, I'll be proud. I'll be happy for you, and I'm hoping I get a car too. You can for sure afford it. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I don't care how much it costs. I'll sell my kid for this car, and I'm just ready to go. I was like, I just register every time. Like, I don't care if I have the money in my funds or not. I'm gonna get that car. But yeah. But
I don't care if it's a semi truck, a van. I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Right?
Do you know your biggest property size? Because you're talking about factories, I'm just curious. Are you holding out on one of your big properties for the bigger size factory?
I have some big ones. I've only built one so far, and it was in Rego Park. It's definitely not my biggest. I actually thought when the factories were first announced, they didn't clarify which ones would be available for cars. So a lot of people thought when they built the small factory that you could use that for cars down the road. Upland came out and clarified that no, you'll need much larger factories for those. But you could still turn these small factories into like outdoor decor manufacturing or other things, right?
Yes. But I feel like outdoor decor is something that needs like a layer 2 game to make it like desirable. Because I have a bunch of I have like ornaments and stuff. If it's like, what do you do with them? You know, like after the event's over, I was kind of like, yeah. So I'm looking forward to someone come up with some other things so I can, flaunt this and do something with it. But I definitely feel like with cars, I don't care if I could. It's like I don't even care if I can ever sell it. I just want one. So I think
my most exciting thing about cars is outdoor decor is putting them. Right now, I can think of a real world business model. Like you could actually make a popular racetrack in Upland, own a lot of properties, and outdoor decor to create billboards for like real world businesses and have those like along the racetrack.
True.
You know what I mean? And you could sell that ad space for sure.
Yeah, with that type of lawn, or that kind of outdoor decor, but not my. I don't even know I don't have outdoor decor. I have ornaments right now, but
Yeah.
but if I could, I would. Even my own freaking business, I would love to be able to like manufacture in my factory just a little sign and stick it right on my property. It's like, hey, it's Blues. But stop by.
I mean, even a little like, hey, Zarinah's Guides on YouTube, like you
QR
could put
code.
that on like all your properties. Like, why wouldn't you want to manufacture outdoor decor that's like driving people to the YouTube work that you're putting in? And that's,
and then you can do it for other people. Like,
Yep.
hey, can you manufacture this sign for me for my property?
Yep.
Like, or node signs. Yeah. Actually, node signs would be kind of cool too.
Exactly.
Like, you're now entering Monero. But
Yep.
I definitely think that. Yeah. So
You're gonna have a lot of this like pride fan type thing, and nodes showing off what node you're in. It's cool.
Yes, that is cool. I actually now I'm gonna need a wear like a Waldo lawn ornament, just like it'll be somewhere in Upland, like on one of my properties. Where's the Waldo?
Yeah, where's Waldo? I actually bought a lot of properties. I'll just throw it out there in what is it? What's the city? Kansas City has a neighborhood, Waldo Homes.
Oh, that's funny.
And I bought a ton of those because I'm like, you could turn this into like a Where's Waldo game.
You could.
Right?
That's actually very smart. But you're always buying like everything everywhere, so like it makes sense.
I mean, that's one of the only neighborhoods I bought a lot of in Kansas City. So I'm usually thinking strategies like that.
Kansas, I don't think I own. Actually, do I own any Kansas?
Come on, Waldo Homes. I think every house, like anyone out there listening, if you own a Waldo home, let's build them all red and white. Let's have some fun with it.
Red and white. There you go. Oh, see? There you have it. You should.
Where's Waldo?
There you go. And now there's a reason to go to Kansas because you just found one.
There you go.
Kansas. I think I might have one Kansas City property. Yeah, but I think that was one of my initial ones that I also purchased just because I didn't know what I was doing. And like one of my secondary first purchases might be a Kansas. I ended up getting rid of that too. But Bakersfield, I still have that one of like bigger lots. I don't think it's going up ever, but.
Hey, but if it's a big lot, that's the thing. That's the thing people need to start considering.
I'm sorry. It was big for me at the time. It's tiny. It's bigger compared to others, but it's probably like, I don't know, 30. It's nothing big.
Yeah.
It just looked like, it cost more because it was the size at the time was more demand. I think it was like 16,000. So yeah, if it's like nowhere in Bakersfield for 16,000, it's gonna be a minute before anybody ever goes over there.
But hey, maybe we'll see car manufacturing take off in places like Bakersfield because people can buy really massive plots of land for lower cost and start manufacturing there. And I think that's the kind of supply and demand we're gonna start seeing in the game. You know,
that's true. That's actually good points. In fact, that's when I do go looking to places like Kansas City and even Chicago. I was like, maybe I can find a bigger plot for like cheaper, like because like maybe someone in Chicago is just ready to sell, like they're just over it, like just like okay, I've had this forever. I'm like looking for like where I'm gonna make my car manufacturing or my car factory because I have nothing. I don't think that is like substantial yet. Like I feel like I need something like at least 1,000. Is it UP2?
Yep.
Like I think I need something like at least 1,000 or more to really feel like, I'm making good use. I don't know. I don't want to limit myself.
Do you know of a tool like that out there right now within the community that does like cost per UP2 that you could sort by that, and then we could maybe find the biggest property for the lowest costs and like
upxland.me, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's our site. I look on there. I go through the looking for. So I saw because I was pondering LA because I feel like Los Angeles is a special place. It's like another place where I'm like, I feel like it's like Hollywood. I just so I was looking there, like where can I buy the biggest place like possible if I'm gonna like spend all this money to have my car factory or whatever. And I see some places not minted yet that I'm like, but they're very pricey. So I'm just kind of holding out.
Are they like 500,000 UPX in that range?
Yes, or
Yeah.
more. Like the one I really want is like around 700 something, because it's like where it's located. I think it was near Venice, and I was like, that's more pricey. So I'm kind of debating, but then I every now and then will look like, well, let's see what's up in like Kansas and Bakersfield, like if there's anything like worth it to me. But I don't know if people have to go to your. I feel like they'll have to send to your factory to buy a car from your factory, which makes me feel like I want to be in LA. That's what I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't want to be in
Well,
a
we
random
do know
spot.
there's going to be showrooms as well, right? Like I imagine maybe they can buy straight from the factory, but there's also going to be like
Yeah.
dealerships.
But does your
And
showroom have to go on your factory's land? And
I
see,
don't
I feel
know.
like that was part of. See, I feel like that's when like I feel like I have to get a whole lot of space just to plan for everything. They might be like, here, you have to have enough room for your factory and your showroom, and maybe a little parking lot space. I don't know. Maybe there's be like showrooms good enough. But
I'm predicting smaller dealership spots like how it is in real cities. Like there's some like
little tiny.
small ones that have like 50 cars on the lot, and they're all like used car type things, but maybe some
But
of them are
50
really
cars
cool
is a lot.
collector's
Have you
items.
seen how like doesn't those cars don't seem to fit very well on one property? Like someone was trying to show like park their car and it looked like it wasn't even gonna fit. So I feel like 50 cars, that's a lot of space, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not sure.
definitely more of a mid-size
I
space.
wonder what do you got to sell me? What do you got? What's
But
your
hey, even
size?
if you're like a really like luxury, like you only resell like really top tier collector's items, you could have a
That's true.
dealership that
Small
only has
stuff.
like 5 cars on it.
That's true.
And it's like
Yeah.
you only resell like really premium
The
cars,
first
and
mints.
someone could have a really valuable business doing that,
First
just
mint.
like the real
Doesn't that
world,
sound like
right?
a good a business theory? First mints car auto. These are only first mints. Just
Yeah.
the first mint sold here. That would be so whoever yeah, you have to collect the first mints out of all the batches, but that would be a good place. First mint.
Yep. And you could make a ton of branding around that like be in Manhattan or something, and
I know. So much. Yeah. So that's what I'm saving for right now is a factory spot, a big plot of land. I'm trying to save up my little upics.
so do you treasure hunt for Spark? Like what's your plan to get more Spark to start
I
manufacturing all these
do.
cars?
I do treasure hunt. I've been falling off. I've been falling off lately. I need to get back to doing my daily stints. But recently I just got too busy and too tired. But up to well, previously, my whole regimen was at least every day do the free one, and then try to like do more and run out of cents. But then I try to catch those of like every now and then if I can do like try to do competitive ones. I'll only go for exclusives. I stopped. I'm in Rutherford, by the way. I see your properties like a lot of times. I appreciate the five up extends.
Yeah, of course.
So like I noticed that the limited was like 200 epics or something. I was like, this is a waste of my time. Like, I did not want that. I want Spark or thousands. So I started just waiting for exclusives. And every now I get lucky. But also this first time, my first Spark Week, my first win during Spark Week competitive hunts was this like past Spark Week or Spark Rush. We just Spark Week, Spark Week. The
Yeah.
most recent one, I won like twice, and I was like, wow, like I know that was like so now I feel like I can try it more often to do it. But normally I just like try to win. I've been trying to win like Spark every week, like but only like it is not like a lot, but like a point oh 0.01, 0.02, 0.0, like get to 0.03. But that's been my thing. I am trying to hunt to get Spark. I've gotten up to, I bought some Spark, so I don't like not recently, but I did buy Spark at least once or twice even. So I think yeah, I bought Spark. I think I bought Spark one time, twice in that time.
Okay.
In that one instance, to get to at least one. Right now, I have almost two Spark, if not two. I'm like, let me see. I'm gonna look and see right now. What is my Spark? I have from hunting more Spark than I bought, but I know
That's
I
cool.
bought two fives. Yeah, so I got now. I'm at 2.14, but some of this is now from my daily logins too.
Yeah, it definitely adds up over time, and I think
Nothing
will be
big.
worth the time investment. I really think they're keeping Spark extremely valuable. I don't think we're going to see a lot of like deflation on the value of Spark because people have invested a lot of money. I've invested
If I had
way
it,
too much money.
I can. Well,
Like,
it's so valuable in the time that you save if you have it.
yeah, if you can afford to buy it, I think it genuinely
Yeah,
is worth
worth
it
it.
for all these manufacturing and business opportunities that we can build
Totally.
off it.
Yes, and you can rent it out too, and that's the thing. It's
Yep.
like I was like renting some Spark out, but now I'm trying to build some micro houses. So like, okay, if it takes me right now, like I think it's like 12 days with my Spark or something to make a micro house, which I know is like a long time, like, cause like you have all that Spark, but for people like me, it's like, that's actually getting like only 12 days seems like a really fast time now than versus like, 300. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going to try to roll over like my Queens property, like build up some Queens properties with those micro houses and then try to flip some. Although I'm wondering
Nice.
if I should just hold them because the way Manhattan panned out, maybe one day like people think Queens will be like really something. I don't know though.
Yeah, that's what I love about this game. It's strategy and it's all like speculation based. You have to kind of trust your own gut and make decisions that way.
My Rockaway, like I have some Rockaway parks. They're like right next to the other Rockaway. Like I thought it was going to be the Rockaway. There was a collection, but it's like the Rockaway. I think it's Rockaway Park or something. It's like not the collection, but it's right next door. And I think those, I don't know, just again, my own like my imaginative nation or my imaginative nature. I feel like I just like looking at it like this is a cool spot in that area.
Yeah.
Like that, like, even if I don't really live there, it just looks like I like flexing. Like that's a nice spot. Like I want to keep that for a while just because I feel like if I want to say I own something in Queens, it would be like down in that area or like I have Hollis Wood Node or whatever in Bay Waters. But there's like those are not like right by the beach, like by rock. I just feel like this is like cool. So
Yeah.
just love it for no reason.
I love it.
It's cool to me. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation today and have loved just talking strategy and like all the potential of what's coming in the future of Upland. Is there anything else you want to shout out or share with us today before we get going?
Well, sure. My store on Etsy. I forgot to mention
Cool.
it. So that's my big thing too. So I have an Etsy store. It's Zarinah's Art. So like one word, my name is Zarinah, with art at the end. And I have like lots of stuff. So just check it out. I also have a book. So if anyone reads and you have kids out there and you just like people and you like giving away books, I have a really cool book actually. It's called It's Okay to Be Sad. And it's on Amazon, and it's featuring this character called a Fuzzycorn that I've like created. I had someone else illustrate for me because I don't have time for this, but it's like my character that I drew and showed her what to do. And this book, It's Okay to Be Sad, features that character, but I think my character is going to come out in a lot of other stories, and I'm hoping for some like actual like videos and like all sorts of stuff. So just check it out. It's Okay to Be Sad. It's by Zarinah Muhammad. That's my name. It's on my Etsy store. So go buy it from me because it's cheaper than Amazon. So yeah, that's all.
And maybe we can see It's Okay to Be Sad and some of these things in the metaverse one day. Yeah,
exactly. I think I'm actually I'm trying to build an experience. So we'll see.
I love
it's
it.
so much to do, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing this with us. And we hope to do this again another time.
I hope so. You're like one of my favorite people ever in Upland. So I was really stoked. Like you're like the Upland like YouTuber. Everyone knows you. So I'm just like, I appreciate you so much for having me on, letting your viewers see me. They never heard of me. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Take care.